Holy cow. Is this live? Okay. I think we're live now. Hey, it is Thursday afternoon. Thursday, the last day of June, last day of Q2. Um, so welcome to our live today. Super excited again to be here with you. Again, it's we're tracking through the summer quite nicely. Already almost the 4th of July here in just a couple of days. So, let's get to it today. So, today's topic I think is super interesting, and it's something. Oh boy, hopefully I didn't. Okay. Um, so, super it's something I'm super ultra. I mean, like interested in, and it's around loyalty. And are customers really loyal? And I have this conversation over the last 6 to 7 years. I mean, I've had this conversation 1,000 times with different businesses. And as business owners, we always want to feel like, hey, I'm creating this value and I had this really good experience with a customer um, but does that really create loyalty? And today there's so much noise, right? I mean, we have stuff blowing up our phones and our social media accounts. We have Facebook and Instagram. We have Snapchat. We have TikTok. We have all these avenues that were being pushed information, and us as businesses we're trying to utilize these channels to stay in top of in front of the customer and build as many loyal relationships as possible. So a couple of days ago, and I'm trying to think, I was listening to, it was last Saturday. I know what day it was. So last Saturday, someone had sent me a podcast, and I was driving from southern Utah up to northern Utah. So it's about a 3.5 hour drive. Actually, I listened to this podcast 3 times, and it wasn't about loyalty per se, but there was some really interesting pieces around engagement and not thinking about the customer but creating fans and it was actually a cool podcast. One of the guys on there was from Shopify, and he was talking about um, how you can use exclusivity and other things in order to create those better one-on-one relationships. And just because I used a plumber one time, or because I used a HVAC company one time, or I got my oil changed somewhere one time, or um, a few minutes ago I went over to 7-Eleven and bought this Peach Edition Red Bull. Um, like I this the 7-Eleven, it's been there for a long time. It's the first time that I've ever been in there. And by the way, they overcharged me, so I'm not going to be a raving fan. But anyway, um, so so that loyalty and our customers really are they really loyal to brands? Are they really loyal to businesses? Um, are they really loyal, or is it more out of convenience or need or want or being reminded or other things? I mean, what really builds loyalty? And um, earlier today, I was on a call with a company, and they're like, "Oh, our customers all like to call us," and I'm like, I'm thinking 100% of your customers want to call you. None of them want to text you. None of them may want to engage you in other ways, other channels. They all want to call. No, not all of them. And so I think as brands, we have to think about this, and as companies, we have to think about this. How do I communicate with those that are going to put food on our table? Those that use us, those that um, and and are they loyal to us, or are they loyal to getting a service done? Are they loyal to us because we do a better job, or is it because of the experience, or is it because of price? Um, what is real loyalty? And obviously we're in customer communication, so that's the number one thing that we think about is what avenues do I have in engaging with the customer? And um, this was really interesting. I took a picture of this, and I don't know if I'll be able to show you guys. Um, you might be able to see that. But so earlier today, I mean, just a few minutes ago, actually, um, I get a notification, and we get these on our phones all the time, right? And so it's like, Uber, hey, find a quick trip. When you're headed around the corner, ride with Uber. And so I've not, it's been maybe 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks, um, since I was in an Uber. And so, but Uber's using notification to remind me, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here. Use me when you're ready, right? And so, what if Uber? I would still use Uber, but what if Uber didn't send that reminder? Or, better yet, I was using an example yesterday of Crumble Cookie, and I don't know if anyone's been to Crumble Cookie. They're growing like wildfire. They're all over the country. And I was using the example of I was reading an article in one of the stores. They do 7,000 cookies a day. So I'm like thinking, well, crap. When I go there, I buy 4 cookies, but maybe people usually buy 12. And if it's 12 cookies, it's like 400 customers or 500 customers a day. And I'm like, okay, yeah, there's always a line in there, and it kind of made sense to me. But um, like how are they driving loyalty? Because I know when I bought from them before, one time I bought from them over like DoorDash, or maybe more than one time. And so DoorDash is where I would go back if I wanted, but they have a mobile app. And so I went on my phone, I'm like into the app store, and I searched, and yeah, they have a mobile app, and it's been downloaded a million two times. And um but I'm like, then I brought the app in again. They go away if we don't use them a lot, right? So I had to download it again. That means I've not used it in 30 or 60 or 90 days. It's probably been longer than that. But just because I like their cookie, I'm not necessarily loyal. I'm not necessarily saying I'm loyal to that brand. And so these brands are putting themselves back in front of us all the time in order to create part of that loyalty. Part of that loyalty is, first part of it is, don't forget me, right? Um, and we forget about a lot of businesses. We may have had a really good experience at the oil change place, or we may have had a really good experience at a restaurant, or we may have had a really good experience at a store. That doesn't make us loyal. And so loyalty is built and earned over time. And so if brands and companies don't do anything to continue that dialogue going on, then what happens is it goes the opposite direction. And so when we think about that, when we think about that question, I don't think we're, I think there's some things we're loyal to. Um, and I used this example yesterday. um, I I go to I go to LA usually every now right now like every 1 day a week. So I'll go out Tuesday night, come back Wednesday night, or whatever like the case might be, right? So but I've been loyal to, I like Southwest. I like some other airlines, but I fly almost every flight. If I have a choice, I'm going to fly on Delta. I'm going to fly on Delta because I get upgrades sometimes. I get to board first. There's perks. And do I'm not loyal to necessarily the price. They charge me the same price that they charge everyone else. And so I think a lot of companies utilize discounting and coupons and other things trying to drive loyalty, but that's really not what drives loyalty. Taco Bell actually does a really good job with the funness of their social stuff in driving loyalty. But I think as companies, no, I don't think that we're as loyal as we once were. And I think the loyalty in the olden days, especially when we think about local businesses, because local is still 80% of all the dollars we spend. I mean, so I don't know, $4.5 trillion being spent in markets. Only 20% of that, 700 and something $1 billion, is online, is e-commerce. And Amazon actually makes up the greatest portion of it. They're the biggest taker of um, of e-commerce. And Amazon is not just Amazon. Amazon's a million small businesses that are shipping product to Amazon, and so pretty cool business. But most dollars are still spent locally. So if we were to go back 25 years, 30 years, what kept people loyal was I call a plumber and I circle them in my yellow page book. I was too That was before my time. I didn't Probably more my parents. Um, Now I'm trying to act a little younger than I actually am, but um, but I do remember. I mean, we had a yellow page book that we didn't throw away, and there's stuff circled in it. And that actually, when I need a plumber again, I may not know the name of the plumber, but I would go back, I'd open up the yellow page book, or they would open up the yellow page book, and voila, there's loyalty. Or here's the guy who tunes up the car. Here's where you get the oil changed, or whatever the case might be, right? So that loyalty piece is gone. So how do we build loyalty today? And it has to come through some form of communication. It has to be something like Uber sending me a notification that, hey, we're still here, and you know what? You can actually use this for even rides around the corner, right? And so um, maybe they saw yesterday I rode a scooter around the corner to the place where I was getting my rental car from the hotel. Um, and they're mad that I didn't use Uber instead of using the bird. I don't know. Anyway, but so loyalty, I think it's really important, but it all comes back to communication. So even if a customer doesn't need us today, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do everything in our power to start a conversation with them that we can utilize tomorrow or 2 months from now or 3 months from now or 6 months from now. Um, if I'm a pest control company, I may have some people who want to call me and I have some people who want to text me, but um, I'm not going to call them back in a year and say, hey, just thinking about you again. It's kind of awkward versus if we would have gotten that text opt in and I'm the car wash and I get a text opt in. Um, Text is something that we can automate to start that conversation again. Have you, has your car seen water lately, right? I mean, has whatever the case might be. And so, utilizing, thinking about where we're at in today's society and really kind of what's next, and then allowing your customers to say yes. I want you to market to me or not. That's them raising their hand and saying, "Yes, I'm here and to I want you to market to me." Not all companies are going to be like Uber, where they can actually get an app on millions of people's phones. Not a lot of companies are going to be like Amazon, where um, they're on all of our phones. Not everyone's going to be like a a DoorDash, where they're on millions and millions of people's phones. Most of our companies are never going to have an app, a direct app on someone's phone, and so then how else do we create that loyalty? And that's where creating raving fans comes in. You have to do something. You can't just sit back and think that they're going to be loyal. You're kidding yourself. They're really not. They're not going to be loyal. Um, Only in rare circumstances if you don't do anything proactive to make sure you maintain and own that relationship. Um, all these industries are really interesting to me because um, even if someone actually, I just learned this the other day from one of my coworkers, um, but someone who gets a room remodeled in their house is more likely in the next 12 to 14 months to get another room remodeled. And so, as brands, as companies, as small businesses, um, if I just went and did my job and got out of there versus wanting to create a relationship and making that more than just today, maybe I have an opportunity to get secondary revenue and maybe a third or fourth. And then they're like, this guy is awesome. So then that's when they start recommending you to through their local Facebook groups and through their neighbor groups and through their social media accounts. And that's when you know you have loyalties, when they're proactively without you asking, going out and sharing. But I think for most companies, they never really get to that point because they just assume, hey, I did a kick butt job. They're always going to come back. Um, so I think that my simple answer on that is like, no, I don't think that people are as loyal as they used to be, but they can be if you as a company put together the processes, put together some simple things to engage them, interact with them and make them want to come back in, right? Just like um, I've not been to a crumble cookie for a little while, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll go. Maybe I'll go down and buy some crumble cookies this weekend. But anyway, um, but they can be engaging. Um, I can tell you, actually, I last week was really funny because last week um, I actually used this guy as an example. They had been um, doing canvassing in my neighborhood, and um, so I sent an email to the email address on there and told them that I used him as an example last week on what not to do. And surprisingly, he responded back. It took him a couple of days, but he responded back and said, "Hey, I'm open to suggestions. What could I do better?" And so I gave him an example of one of our other customers and how they utilized um, kind of technology, modern technology, to engage a base and getting some of that base to say, "Hey, I'm interested in what you're doing." So now um, those organizations have something to go off of. They can actually do something with the value that they've created versus allowing someone to walk into my restaurant, eat, and leave, and me never know who they are. Someone comes into my shop to get their oil changed, and they get that done, they leave, and I never know who they are. I have no way of engaging with them. And so that's where businesses can actually change and create loyalty by doing something proactive with their user base. And so those are my thoughts for today. If we can actually help you out at Fresh Lime, give our team a call. We help bridge the gap in modern communication between businesses or brands and their customers. And we can actually help you capture more customer contacts, be create plans to engage those contacts, and to build loyal followers over time. And there's never a better time to start than today. We don't know what the economic conditions are going to be in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and so the more we can do to build better relationships with our customers, the more we're going to be in a position to capture those customers when they need to buy those products or services again. And it doesn't really matter what business we're in. If you sell to a local customer in any form or fashion, um, then software is there today to help you um, thrive and excel even during the worst of times. And so, thanks again for joining us today. Till next week, go out and have a good one. Happy, have a great long 4th of July weekend. Cheers. Bye.